Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the Surge Cup Championship here with RLSS. Rocket League fans out there, how are we doing today? I see a lot of support coming in for these two teams, kicking it right out of the gate with PXU Abyss and Affinity Sapphire. And, well, let me tell you, these two teams have been kind of going at it pretty good throughout the season. Haven't faced off against each other, I should say, during the regular season, but Affinity Sapphire ending their season 5-2, PXU coming out of that one 4-3. This is probably as even as it's going to get outside of just a deadlock tie in the standings, so this should be a rather exciting game. I know the two teams are definitely raring to go from what I've been seeing, just making sure a couple things are good to go on our end. But best of sevens all the way through today. You guys have a lot of action-packed Rocket League coming at you. Oh God, I hope you're ready. I mean, I get some drinks ready, get some snacks ready, because it is going to be quite the night. 4 to 5 hours of Rocket League. There's a lot of cars, a lot of soccer going around, playing some... Okay, let us see now if they are good to go before we jump on in. Okay, it looks like they are getting ready. We are going to go start it off to go into kickoff. Once they make sure they are on the right sides. There we go. And ladies and gentlemen, it is kickoff time here. We are going into game number 1 of our best of 7 series. PXU Abyss and Affinity Sapphire. And there she goes. Kickoff right out of the gate. You love to see it. And take a look at what we see. All right. All headed down on over into PXU Abyss territory immediately. Flying right on back now. The Surge Cup being our second to top, I want to say, division here. I'm expecting a lot out of these players, a lot that I know I am not capable of, and that's why I certainly cast the games and don't play myself. I can't do any of these flying around. Like, look at that. What even was that we just saw out of Krill just floating around in the air, able to dribble that ball and find it? Yeah, I can't do any of that. So I love seeing these players, seeing what they can do, checking out the rotations and how well they synergize. And I mean, playing competitive esports in other games for so many years, I know how comms can get. And I just had some insight back on Friday with another team about, you know, what are the comms like inside of the Rocket League scene, inside of the competitive Rocket League scene at the higher end. And chaos was quite literally the word that I was met with, because it just sounds like it is a lot of back and forth, knowing where your positioning is, knowing where your team's positioning is, and knowing when we need to rotate on offense, on defense, and I guess when we need to just demo everybody, because that is some back-to-back-to-back hits in there, and it looks like Krill is going to send it on in and put PXU on the board 1 minute and 20 seconds in to game number 1, taking the lead right away. Here to beat us himself. I will fix that after this game. No sweat, no problem. But there we go, going on into kickoff. Affinity Sapphire needing to close this gap and needing to find themselves an opening to tie this one on up to, you know, go on at it. But you know what? It is only game 1 in a best of 7. Plenty of game to go, even though my score on top says best of 5. What are you doing to me right now? Please fix that. You know, sometimes you, there we go. Hey, look at that. We got the right names, we got the logos, we got the best of 7. It says everything correctly now. All right. Now we're playing some Rocket League, or well, now we're watching some Rocket League. 2 minutes off the clock. PXU leading the score 1-0. Make sure I have this set correctly. There we go. So far, possession has been in favor of PXU Abyss. They've been able to keep up the pressure onto Affinity Sapphire. Already we're seeing their territory under fire. Knights Noli sends it on in, and that is going to put a second one on the board for PXU Abyss. They are coming out swinging today, ladies and gentlemen, in the Sunday night lights for your Surge Championship. Affinity Sapphire, kind of wonder, you know, is this the warm-up game, or did you have the warm-up game already? 2.5 minutes off the clock. That is halfway through game number 1. Close, but no cigar right there. Affinity Sapphire able to keep some pressure onto PXU Abyss, now looking for a score themselves. The setup is there by Sharky. Unfortunately, no teammates are going to be able to respond. Going to keep the ball down onto the goal of PXU Abyss, not wanting to relinquish this pressure right now. And again, Hugh Dog gonna send it on over, open goal, but Night Noli is there to make sure the ball does not go any farther. Another demo, and it does seem like Office Walrus, what a name, is going to be able to keep that ball right on down. PXU Abyss wanting to clear out their territory, and it looks like they are finally going to be able to do just that. Good rotations, though, from PXU Abyss to want to keep up the pressure down here. Night Noli going to be a great defense at middle field, and another demo. It is a demolition derby here in game 1. Hugh Dog goes for the light tap right on in. Not going to be able to find it, though. Affinity Sapphire back in control of the ball. Going to send it on over. Look for the setup. Unfortunately, going to get trapped in the corner. Shot just off the top bar. Not going to be able to find it on in there. Sharky playing around the middle. Look at that. What is that? You're just going to spiral yourself right on up through midfield and just tap the ball like that? Okay. Fun predictions. I love seeing that kind of stuff. Corner ball in Affinity Sapphire territory. Night Noli looking for the setup. Nobody there on the receiving end. Office Walrus looking to try to clear this one on out and send it on over to PXU territory. But open goal! Night Noli's going to find the third one for PXU Abyss. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 60 seconds left on the clock here in game number 1. And PXU Abyss is, they're coming out swinging, coming out shooting, and they are on fire so far. 3-0 here in our best of 7 set to find out who is going to be moving on into quarterfinals here in championship night. Championship day? Still day, right? Championship evening. Whichever it may be. 45 seconds left on the clock. PXU Abyss gonna have to play a little bit of defense right here. Not worried too much as it seems. Ball trapped over in the corner. Hugh Dog looking for the setup. Office Walrus not gonna be able to find it, but Sharky wants to go for the return. Not gonna be finding that one as well. Hugh Dog looking to see what they can do. 2 members of PXU Abyss, though, are playing in and around the goal. Are going to be able to clear that one on out of there. Trapped back over in the corner of PXU Abyss territory, though. Back over to midfield. Now down over onto the side of Affinity Sapphire. Now PXU Abyss over on the offense yet again. Wanting to put a 4th one on the board before the game ends. Close off the left post. 5 seconds ticking down. And that looks like that is going to be game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, here in your round 1 on championship night. PXU Abyss are going to walk away 1 up in the score. It is kickoff time for game number 2. Raring to go, jumping into the action. It's going to come down to Affinity. Ooh, sorry. There we go. I'm missing something. What am I missing? There we go. All right, it's going to come up to Affinity Sapphire to take an early lead here in game number 2 to try to even out the standings a little bit so far. I mean, it's still early. There's still a lot of game to go, but being in a 2-game deficit is not something you want. I mean, being in a 1-game deficit, not what you want either. But Night Noli finding himself another one here in game number 2. Not even 30 seconds into the round. That is not what you want to see if you are an Affinity Sapphire fan. Let me tell you, needing to make themselves, what do we want to say? A little bit awake? Waking on up here in the evening of Sunday. I slept all day. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just kidding. I almost slept. Okay, Night Noli, please. That's 7 seconds. You're gonna do that to them right now. Back-to-back scores. 7 seconds into the round. Look at that. We'll pinch off the corner. Gonna send it right on in. Getting a second one on the board for PXU Abyss. They are, they're cooking a little bit. Needless to say. 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on the clock, and PXU Abyss are off to an early lead here, not only in the sets, but also here in game number 2. They want to get that nice 2-game buffer to feel like they have a little bit more room to play with. It does feel very good, but when you do have that, if you do get that, you got to remember to keep playing your game, not giving an inch, you know, because the other teams, I mean, like we mentioned before, the Surge Cup is one of our higher divisions. these players are good enough that they will recognize those openings, they will take advantage of you, and they will find themselves a nice score. Close! Affinity Sapphire gonna be able to find one. There we go. Sharky gonna send it on in. That's gonna be the first one on the board for Affinity Sapphire. This is what they needed, a little bit of life coming right back into their wheels. I'm gonna say boots, but wheels right here in game number 2. Let's see if we can even this one on out. Let's see if Affinity Sapphire can find themselves a second one to tie us up here in game number 2, to then have a chance to take the lead in game number 2, to then have a chance to tie us up in the series 1-1. But still, 3.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Now, PXU Abyss territory under fire. Shot on goal by Hugh Dog, gonna be saved by Lane. Now open shot, open goal, Lane close. But the members of Affinity Sapphire were able to rotate around. Speaking of rotations, Krill wanted to keep the ball on down into the territory. Open goal for PXU Abyss. Not gonna be able to find it. Close, send it on over into the corner. Let's clear this one on out. Lane gonna be able to do just that. Send it on over into midfield, and the ball is dead center right now. Gonna play around with that one. See who gets possession. It's Office Walrus going for the setup off the top post, and the ball is just floating right in the middle, but 2 members of PXU Abyss are going to be there to deny any sort of shot attempt. 2 minutes of 40 remaining on the clock. PXU Abyss leading the charge. Affinity Sapphire needs that one to tie us up here in game number 2, to tie us up here in the set. Halfway through game number 2. And so far, ball possession has been pretty even, but Affinity Sapphire has actually been the ones in the majority of the control. The field domination as well, it seems like they are able to keep up the pressure. Hold our breath right there, as Affinity Sapphire almost had another great shot on goal, but they weren't able to find it. Setting it up, float over the top. It's going to come down right in front of the goal. Never mind, Hugh Dog's going to tip that one away and send it on over into the corner of PXU territory. Center ball from corner to corner. Get it right across. 2 minutes left on the clock. Hugh Dog look for the setup. Lane is there to keep the ball over into the corner. They don't want this one to get centralized. Sharky goes for the setup. Unfortunately, no members from Affinity Sapphire are there already. Office Walrus going for the shot attempt. Not going to be able to find it. Sharky going for the shot themselves. Some good setup here, but great defense coming in from PXU Abyss. Office Walrus rotating back around to make sure we can keep this ball on down into PXU territory. No sweat, no problem. Sharky gonna do the exact same. Send on over into the corner. Night Noli wanting to clear this one on out. And it looks like it's just gonna get pinched right on back into the PXU corner. Sharky with a shot attempt, just going to tip it off the right side. No problem. We need to see some setup. We need to see a little bit of coordination coming in from Affinity Sapphire. We are ticking down to the final 60 seconds. And Night Noli going to clear this one on out. Look for the shot attempt. But unfortunately, Office Walrus was able to rotate back around. There it is. That is the 60-second mark here in game number 2. Time is ticking down for Affinity Sapphire to not be in that 2-game deficit in our best of 7. Now it just seems like Affinity Sapphire's territory might be under fire as PXU Abyss is on their side of the pitch. Office Walrus going to knock Lane on down. Maybe that will create a little bit of an opening, and it seems like it will as Office Walrus looks for the setup. Great rotations in from Night Noli though, to be able to clear that one on out. That's 30 seconds there. You see it on the screen. You see it on the clock ticking on down. Ball center field. Office Walrus looks for the setup off the top end, and he's going to be able to assist himself and smack that one right on down with the spike. Great shot coming in. Affinity Sapphire have tied us up here in game number 2. 21 seconds left on the clock. Can a team get a score? I mean, can a team, I say. PXU Abyss scored in 7 seconds. Last time they did score. Sharky with the open goal. Gonna be able to find it right out of the gate. That's a 3-second goal for Affinity Sapphire. That is what you needed. We're seeing a little bit of life coming out of the team. Look at the opening Sharky found. 18 seconds left on the clock. Affinity Sapphire looking to tie the series right back on up right away here in game number 2. Not going to want to give a single inch, a single morsel, allowing Affinity Sapphire to keep their cool. I think they're warmed on up now. Time ticking down, the final 10 seconds. PXU wanting to find themselves a little bit of something, but all Affinity Sapphire has to do is play that little bit of defense. If the ball touches down, there she goes. If I can find control of my mouse, that's going to do it. Affinity Sapphire are going to walk away. Game number 2. They're going to put that one under their belt. It's game number 3 time, ladies and gentlemen of PXU Abyss versus Affinity Sapphire. We are all tied up in the series. It's, I mean, practically 0-0 now, a best of 5 pretty much. Already we are seeing Affinity Sapphire wanting to put pressure on the goal of PXU Abyss, as they should. We are seeing a little bit of fire coming out of their tanks. It's cars. We gotta make car puns and car references, you know? That's our goal. Oh, where did that come from? Was that just a shot from midfield? Okay, take a look. Not even midfield, from across the field. Office Walrus from their own corner sends it flying 30 seconds in. I wasn't prepared. I don't think PXU was prepared either. What a shot coming in from Office Walrus of Affinity Sapphire. That's pretty good, I would say. What are you guys thinking out there? Affinity Sapphire taking that lead right away here in game number 3. I think it's safe to say that they've woken up a little bit. We are 60 seconds down. Affinity Sapphire putting pressure back on PXU Abyss. 3 members of PXU, though, on the defense are trying to clear this one on out. We've seen the switch up, though, for Affinity Sapphire, and I think it came about halfway through that last game. We are starting to see a little bit of life. How is PXU going to respond, though, is going to be the question. Do we need to see a little bit more cohesion, a little bit more setup, a little bit more pressure? Honestly, it feels like they aren't able to get the ball out of their own territory. Because immediately, take a look at that. Sharky sends it right back on down. Possession in favor of Affinity Sapphire. Field domination in favor of Affinity Sapphire. Shots are 100% for Affinity Sapphire. You're hearing it right there. Not a single attempt on goal from PXU Abyss as of yet, until, well, I mean, a little bit close right there. But close is only going to get you so far. Now, ball back down into PXU territory. Members of Affinity Sapphire rotating on around to see if they can find themselves a little bit of a setup. They want to keep the pressure up. Night Noli going to be able to clear that one on out, but Hugh Dog rotated on back, was set up and ready, and got sent on over to the gray screen, traded out for Krill over there. The two of them close. Sharky going to be able to find the second one up for Affinity Sapphire in the confusion with 2 members off, 1 for each team. Sharky's going to be able to just swing on over. Great setup, though, from Office Walrus. Would like to fix a little bit of this real quick. Sorry, get that out of the way. Make sure that's not too far. There we go. 2.5 minutes here in game number 3. We are tied up in the series, but life has been brought into Affinity Sapphire. They are finding the openings. They are keeping the pressure on PXU Abyss. They are what feels like playing their game. That's what you love to see. Now, ball back down into PXU territory. It honestly feels like PXU is not even getting an inch to breathe right now. Affinity Sapphire is like, okay, cool. As soon as this ball crosses midfield, they are sending it right on back. Take a look. Again, they are doing their best to make sure it stays at midfield, if not in PXU territory, on their side of the pitch. U-Dog are going to want to clear this one on out, keep it away from their goal, and again, send it right on back down. U-Dog returned to the gray screen. Just get him on out of here. And it does seem like Krill is going to be able to find that demo. It is quite a demolition style game here. I should say. These teams have been going back and forth, just knocking each other out of here. It's great. 1.5 minutes remaining on the clock. 2 scores up for Affinity Sapphire. They're chilling. They just need to play a little bit of defense. And another demolition comes in as Hugh Dog gets knocked on out. Time ticking down. PXU needs to find themselves a little bit of something. We need to see a little bit of a wake-up call, maybe a kind of a step back, whether it be after this game, probably since we're taking down in the last 60 seconds, to say, okay, Guys, what happened? Where did we go from game number 1 and the start of game number 2? What happened to that aggression? How is Affinity Sapphire able to just kind of whittle us apart? Shot on goal! PXU Abyss! Krill is going to be able to find that one. There we go. That is the one up they needed, but they still need another to tie themselves up here in game number 3. Kickoff coming through. Can PXU Abyss find their second goal in under 60 seconds? They've done it before. They most certainly can do it again. Another demolition as Lane knocks off his Walrus on down. Setup is there. Ball in the center right in front of the goal of Affinity Sapphire. Not going to be able to find it. Lane looking for the setup again. Going to get sent over to the center. Night Noli trying to keep up the pressure along with Krill. Can they get this one set on up? 30 seconds remaining. It's going to float right over the top and get sent on out into the corner. We need to see a setup. We need to see an attempt to get made here off the right post. Going to get sent back on over into the corner. 15 seconds left on the clock. Open goal, though, for PXU Abyss. Not going to be able to find it. Affinity Sapphire was looking for another one. Time ticking down. The final 5 seconds. Shot attempt right over the top. Krill's going to be there on the defense, and that is going to do it for us here in game number 3. Affinity Sapphire are going to find themselves a second one. All right, a little bit of card change going on for PXU Abyss. Maybe they got what they need. We are jumping into game number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, here for your Surge Cup Championship here in round number 1. Who is going to be moving on to quarterfinals? Affinity Sapphire leading the series 2-1. And we've seen a lot of goals in under 30 seconds, around 30 seconds here so far. Are we going to see something similar? We're getting close to that 30-second mark. Affinity Sapphire on a good defense. Night Noli looks for the attempt or maybe even the fake to see if he can set up a teammate. Not going to be able to find it, and there goes that 30-second mark. It ain't going to happen this time around. But Krill wants to find something. Night Noli goes for the assist, but unfortunately going to send that one on over into the corner. Krill going back for the setup. Office Walrus is there to clear that one on out. Now send it on back on over into PXU territory. See if we can put up the pressure again. PXU, maybe, hopefully, with their change out of their vehicles, they have what they need to find themselves another one in this series to see if they can tie things on out. We are down a minute here in game number 4. And so far, it's been a pretty decent back and forth in terms of the possession of the ball, but so far, PXU Abyss have actually been kind of dominating the field. As we can see, the pressure is on, keeping the pressure down on the side of Affinity Sapphire. Pressure's on, keeping the pressure on down on them. English is a great language. I recommend learning it. Sometimes. Only sometimes. Now again, Affinity Sapphire looking for a shot attempt. Not going to be able to find it. Office Walrus going to be able to send it on back. 2 members of PXU are going to be able to rotate around and clear that one on out. Send it on over into the corner. See if a center ball ends up happening. Going to be able to clear. No sweat. No problem. 2 minutes off the clock. Setup attempt from Affinity Sapphire. Not going to be able to amount to much. Center of the goal. Close. Never mind. Not close. It's in. Office Walrus is going to be able to find the first one for Affinity Sapphire here in game number 4. That's going to give the Affinity Sapphire a nice lead. And, well, I mean, it's exactly what Affinity Sapphire wants right now. You're a game up in the series. You're a point up here in the game. You're sitting kind of comfortable. PXU needs to get themselves a little bit of something. We saw some life there back in the end of that last game. Now comes down to finding the consistency, finding that more often. They want to tie this one on up. Affinity Sapphire pressuring out PXU. Now ball back on down over onto the side of Affinity Sapphire. Night Noli looking for a little bit of something. Sharky going to be clearing that one on out. Office Walrus looks for the setup. Ball right in front of the goal. Unfortunately, nobody from Affinity Sapphire able to find it. And it looks like Hugh Dog is going for the setup. Great defense, though, from Night Noli. Another demo. I mean, is it another demo? Lane, what are you doing to these people? Let them play the game. Another demo, a double demo, as Office Walrus and Krill end up knocking each other on out. It's a demolition derby here in round 1 of your championship night. Ball in the goal. It's going to go on in. Sharky's going to be able to find that one. Affinity Sapphire getting themselves a second one on the board. Ooh. Whoa. These people are making me talk a lot. It's exciting. It's a lot of back and forth. It's great. Affinity Sapphire. Oh, is that an open goal? We're almost gonna. Oh, never mind. Not almost. Oh my God! What a save coming in from Lane. That was a little bit of a back and forth right there. I was on the edge of my seat. I thought we were gonna see another quick goal right out of the kickoff, but denied. Open goal off the demo. Sharky getting out of here. Noli going for the shot. Lane gonna be able to find it though. Great back and forth. Great assist coming in, and PXU has found themselves one up here. Good defense though from Office Walrus. A good try there, but Lane just being able to find that opening and get the rebound, should you say? Get the assist definitely to be able to send one in and get PXU on the board here in game number 4. Kickoff is there. A minute and a half remaining on the clock. Ball right over the top of the goal of PXU Abyss. Another demo, but Office Walrus is going to send it on in. Now 2 scores up here. Looking to be 2 score up in the series as well. Sharky just demo inside of the goal to make sure Office Walrus can send that one in. That's some pretty good coordination. Knock out the defender and gives your teammate the chance to find the opening. Now close to getting in front of the goal yet again. Affinity Sapphire is able to find these setups and are playing off of it very nicely. 60 seconds left, about to tick on down here in game number 4. There it is, 1 minute remaining. You see it on the clock. Sharky coming in on the defense. We need 2 out of PXU. Can they find it? A good attempt there, but unfortunately Affinity Sapphire is rotating around and making sure they keep 2 members over on the defense side of things. 40 seconds left now, time ticking down. We need 2 scores from PXU, but unfortunately Affinity Sapphire is keeping up the pressure. Now center ball, looking for it. Sharky gonna be able to find it. Great assist coming in from Office Walrus. And Hugh Dog has, oh, who set that up right there? It was Office Walrus. Just sent us over to Hugh Dog though, and Sharky able to find the goal. 3 scores up, looking to be 2 up in the series, looking to send themselves to match point, ladies and gentlemen, here in round number 1 of your Surge Cup Championship of RLSS. Oh, 20 seconds left on the clock. Close for Affinity to try to find themselves another. They want to pad their stats a little bit. Time ticking down. Krill looking for 1. Goes for the setup. Unfortunately, 2 members of Affinity Sapphire on defense. Gonna clear that one on out. Send it right on back down into Affinity territory. Doesn't matter. 1 second left. As soon as we touch on down, that is going to do it for us here in game number 4. We are jumping into game number 5 here. There we go. It is match point in round number 1. Affinity Sapphire leading the series 3-1. This is an exciting first round. It seems like Affinity Sapphire just needed a little bit of warm up, shake off the rust. Not so bad. Shot attempt is there. Office Walrus gonna find one. 21 seconds into the round. These are those early goals we saw back in round 2, back in round 3. Oh Lord, we're on round 5 already. Game 5 already, I should say. Back in game 2 and game 3 that we ended up seeing with a 35-second goal and a 30-second goal, respectively. Don't quote me on that one. I know one was definitely a 35-second goal. You can't fool me on that, sucker. But already coming out of the gate, Affinity Sapphire wanting to make sure they take that early lead in the game, because now it just comes down to, really, I mean, yeah, get yourself another goal and be a little bit more comfortable. We talked about that 2-game up, that 2-game buffer in the series. I mean, you can have a 2-goal buffer in a single game too. It's really just all the same. It gives you that kind of a little bit of breathing room, so you know, okay, we can play this one a little bit more defense. We don't have to look for so much offense, but Lane's gonna tie this one on up. PXU Abyss are not ready to give up here. They need this to stay in. Not only to stay in this series, but it's just not in their season right here in the first round of championship night. 1-1. We aren't even 60 seconds in to game number 5. We are all tied up though, and that is exactly what you love to see. I've lost my mouse. There it is. All right. Pressure getting put on by PXU Abyss, looking for an attempt. Night Noli gonna try to set this one back on over into midfield. Lane gonna tap it on over to Krill. 3 members of Affinity Sapphire playing around the goal though, trying to clear this one, I should say, on out of there. Lane gonna send it right on back so far. PXU Abyss comes out pretty hard in these games. It seems like they have the possession of the ball for the majority. They have the pressure on the field for the majority. You know, they're able to just make sure that Affinity Sapphire is feeling pressured, but then it feels like Affinity Sapphire just kind of finds a few goals and PXU's unable to find a response. We're finding a lot of things today. Almost 2 minutes off the clock here. Now, ball down over into the corner of PXU Abyss, getting sent back over to midfield as Krill ends up clearing that one away. Alpha Walrus says nay, nay. Lane on the defense, so I'm gonna say we're just gonna keep this one on out of here. 3 members of PXU are on defense. They don't want to give Affinity Sapphire that 1 goal up, though. They want to keep this one nice and tied to see if they can find a chance for themselves to have a lead here in game number 5. This could be it. If PXU Abyss can find the 1-up, they stay in this set. But Affinity Sapphire are going to find the 1-up themselves. Office Walrus setting themselves up off the corner, gonna thread that one right over the top of Krill and put it on in. Now 2-1 here, halfway through game number 5. Halfway through match point in round number 1 of championship night here. Great job coming in from Affinity Sapphire, responding to the pressure of PXU Abyss, but man, we need to see PXU just find something. We need to see a little bit of teamwork. We just need to see them find some consistency. And honestly, like we mentioned just a second ago, it feels like they get some good early pressure. They're not able to find much off of it though. You know, where are they finding their goals? I'll tell you where Sharky's finding his goals, with 2 members of PXU inside of the goal. Take a look at this one right over the top. Late at Night Noli. Yeah, not really too much of a bother. We're going to thread this one right over, right next to the left post. I'm going to send that one on in. Now that 2-goal buffer we were talking about is in the pocket of Affinity Sapphire. 2 minutes left on the clock. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going in. This is getting heated. Affinity Sapphire looking to put this one away, looking to move on to quarterfinals. Lane gonna send it off over into the corner. Night Noli is here. Open goal. Ain't no way. Not gonna be able to find it. Never mind. The setup is there from Sharky, and Hugh Dog comes in from downtown to put it on in. Take a look at that. Sharky says, here you go. And Hugh Dog says, thank you very much. Now 3 goals up for Affinity Sapphire. We are a minute and a half left on the clock here in match point. PXU needs 3 to tie it on up, needs 4 to take the lead to stay in, and there's going to be a 5th one on the board for Affinity Sapphire as Hugh Dog is his own setup and brings it on in. Sharky, nah, that's my goal. I'm the one who set this up. I'm going to be the one to take that. Thank you very much. Ooh, okay. 4 goals now separate these 2 teams here in game number 5. It just seems like PXU is now kind of throwing themselves at the ball to see if they could find the openings that they need, but unfortunately they're leaving too many openings themselves. They need to play a lot of offense. They are in such a difficult position, and that's going to take us to 60 seconds left on the clock. We are in the 1 minute remaining zone. Here we go. Now ticking on down. 4 scores to tie it on up. 5 to take the lead, to stay in the tournament. Time is ticking. Demos are going to start ripping through. We know these teams love it. Night Noli looks for it, but two members of Affinity Sapphire are on the defense. Krill going to be able to send it on back down into the territory of Affinity Sapphire. Attempts to set up, not going to be able to get it, though. Going to keep it ball over into the corner of Affinity Sapphire. Sharky going to clear this one on out. Looks for the setup. Open goal. Going to be able to find it himself and put that one on in, making this one a 6-1 lead in game number 5. Ooh, boy. Yeah, I feel like Affinity Sapphire is raring to go here on championship night. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 seconds left on the clock. 5 goals separate these two teams. Time ticking down in the final 10 seconds, and it looks like that is going to do it, but not before PXU finds himself one. You know what? The respect goal, you deserve it, Krill. Take that one. Enjoy it. Put that one on your stats and make sure teams know to pick you up next season. I love the little splash. 3 seconds left. 4 goals. Can they do it? Looks like that is going to do it as soon as ball touches down, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, they're going to make me hold my breath. The buildup is there. They want to find it. There it is. Affinity Sapphire are going to walk away. Your round 1 winners, moving on into quarterfinal. Oh boy, what a start from these two teams. Honestly, from in the tournament, you know, it was great. PXU Abyss, they came out swinging. They put some good pressure onto Affinity Sapphire, but I don't know if it was just cool, now we're warmed up, we're raring to go for Affinity Sapphire, or if it was, okay, you know what do you want to say? Shake off the rust, let's get back into our game plan, that kind of thing. Either way, they managed to, let's make sure I'm good to go over here. They managed to walk away with this one. PXU Abyss, thank you very much. You guys played phenomenally. You made a really, really great showing here. Unfortunately, Affinity Sapphire was able to find the better of you. And Affinity Sapphire, congratulations. You will be moving on into the next round. And I believe we're going to be following them over into the next round against their next opponent. But we are going to go to a quick intermission before we get to that point. You all sit tight, grab yourself a drink, because we have another set coming at you right after this. We'll see you in just a moment.